we just had October's game patch. So what is included in that is some major changes. The first here is to Mobius M. Mobius. It was changed to an on reveal, which has the same effect as his previous iteration is ongoing, but instead of being ongoing and lasting forever, it only lasts for the next turn. So if you want to counter Sera, you have to play this on turn 5. If you want to counter Wave, you want to play this on turn 3. It can't be comboed with Wave on turn 3 because you'd play him and then you play Wave. So he can still be comboed on turn 5. This is a major change. I think it'll be a huge thing in the meta, going along with a buff to Ravonna. So she went down to a 2-1 with the exact same text. The only thing changed was her stats, but this means she works with negative. They are still a little anti-synergistic, as once negative buffs the cards, Ravonna no longer discounts them, but still a strong card, a good combo. You can use her in something like this with another card that was sneakily buffed, going into our next thing. So Hobgoblin and Goblin, which Ravonna buffs, are now a counter to Eliath. So Eliath now, no text change, but he will only destroy cards on the opponent's side. So if your Goblin flies over to your opponent's side when they play Eliath, it won't destroy them as it's on their side and is viewed as a friendly card. The same will happen with Hobgoblin, or any cards like that. If you play something and Viper it over on the turn Eliath is played, that won't count. So it is a strong counter, as even just a regular Goblin will zero out the power Eliath has, which is something they may not be expecting. Sandman got a buff, just 1 power, which is good for him. We'll see if that bumps up his play at all with all the bounce going on. Wave got a big change. So she's now a 3/5 plus 2 power, and on reveal, all cards cost a maximum of 4 until the next turn. Another change is to AntMan. So the location is full, plus 3 power. So basically all that does is if he is played into Space Throne, then he still gets the buff. So in Space Throne, he's a 1/4 instead of a 1/1, which is the same thing that they did for Dazzler. Space Throne as a location counts as full instead of having to have 4 cards there. So Dazzler gets the buff. And then the final change was to Negasonic Teenage Warhead. So what happened is she got a power decrease to 3/2. After an enemy card here is played, destroy it once per game, which is huge. So before, power didn't matter. It was just a 3 mana counter whatever your opponent played and die, which was often like a 1-cost card or something small that they didn't care about. So now what happens is this is played, your opponent plays their card, they die, you still get to keep this. So it'll be a lot easier to counter things on turn 6 and be able to play this alongside Surf. So I think this will be definitely a card to look out for, something to think about, alongside the changes to Ravonna will be a fun change. So another major change players have been asking for is a change to Spotlight caches. So this is now your Spotlight cache. So it contains these cards here. If you've already opened, it'll check them off, which is nice because you get to see the base and the Spotlight variant all at once. So what you do is you open your Spotlight key, you get the key, and then it's added to your Spotlight cache. So this way you have an easy counter of how many spotlight caches you have. So if you look here, I have one. I'm not going to accidentally click this on the rewards track. And then this, what it is a press and hold to open. So if you press and hold this, it'll open and you'll get one of these 4 random options. So this is a great way for us to, I think it's a great improvement, just because scrolling through this track to open spotlight caches is kind of awkward. Sometimes you'll scroll past. So this way it's all in one place. You don't have to worry about opening it, and I'm actually really excited about this change. And I think I don't want to see what this animation is. I'll be opening Werewolf by Night caches, so I guess we'll see what that is in a couple of hours. But yeah, so let me know what you think of the changes. I think the Spotlight cache is good. Are there any cards that you feel like were changed that were good changes or bad? Let me know. I really like the Negasonic change and the Ravonna change. I think Mobius was a needed change, while Wave, Sandman, and Goliath are good changes, but we'll see how impactful those really are. I think I like the small little buffs they do to cards like AntMan that just make sense for what the locations in the games are. Anyways, have a good day.